Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. Dylan here. We have a major bombshell today from Dave Ramsey that you do not want to miss. He just came out and revealed the truth about what's going on in America, and he's teaming up with President Trump to make America great again. Dave Ramsey, I have to say, he's one of my biggest inspirations in life, and I have to credit him to help saving my life because I started listening to his podcast and to his show when I was in a lot of credit card debt and when I was down on my luck. And he actually gave me hope and inspiration and gave me also the tools to be able to get out of debt and to become wealthy and to actually be able to buy this house that I'm sitting in today. So I have to give him a lot of credit and respect for just the role that he's played in my life. You know, he really played the role of financial mentor for me, even though I've never met him in real life. Never talked to the guy. I just have listened to his show. He has played a vital role in helping President Trump defeat Kamala Harris because on his show, he was talking about how Trump's principles are actually really good for the everyday American, when in reality the mainstream media was saying, oh, Trump only cares about the rich, Trump only cares about himself. And Kamala was supposed to be, oh, she's gonna help everyday Americans. And Dave Ramsey was like, that's a load of garbage. Trump is reinstilling the American dream. You can actually get rich again and get wealthy through hard work and not by getting a handout from the government. Because just because Zoran Mamdani says, oh, you're going to get free groceries, free rent, free this, free that, it's not actually free because somebody's got to pay for it. Either busting out the money printer or raising taxes, okay? There's no such thing as a free lunch. So we're going to bring in Dave Ramsey onto the show. But before we do, we're going to read the Bible and pray, because God comes first. Amen? Comment amen down below if you truly do believe that God comes first. And I also really do like how Dave Ramsey does use biblical principles in his teachings. In my Invest Like Trump program, which you can get down below and get up to $1,000 in bonus stocks, I also talk about Dave Ramsey a lot in there because that's what helped me, and I also talk about Dave Ramsey in the program too. Today's Bible reading comes from the second book of Thessalonians. But the Lord is faithful, and he will strengthen you and protect you from the evil one. Amen. So comment amen down below, and now let's bring on Dave Ramsey, guys. Okay, so Dave Ramsey just came out to talk about the big, beautiful bill and what's been going on with the student loan crisis. He also talks about how this is a great time to start a business in America, which again, in the Invest Like Trump program, we talk a lot about starting a business and becoming wealthy. Check the links below. Let's tune in.
It is Financial Freedom Week here on Fox Business, and who better to talk to about that than Dave Ramsey? Dave built his business from the ground up, and he recently released a new book on the topic, and Dave Ramsey, who I've known for 20 years, joins me now. All right, Dave, let's get on with it. What's your basic advice to a youngster trying to build a business? The first piece of advice you'd give to him.
You know, this is the greatest time right now in America in the history of the human race to start a business. And a whole bunch of the Gen Zs and millennials are opening businesses. They're turning their side hustles into real businesses, and I'm just really excited about that. We tell them to go slow, be wise, don't be rash, and don't borrow a bunch of money into your ideas, because a lot of your ideas suck. A lot of my ideas have sucked. I'm convinced that about 90% of what we've tried at Ramsey over the last 30 years sucked. And about 10% worked, and you don't know in the morning when you're on the walking trail which one it is. But by the time you put it into the marketplace, the customers will tell you. And if you borrow a bunch of money into it, you end up paying payments on stuff you threw in the dumpster.
Don't borrow. I'll get more into that a bit later on. But what's the best investment a young business owner can make early on in the game?
To start moving from what we call the treadmill stage, which is what I started in and everyone starts in, where you're the CEO, the chief everything officer. You're responsible for revenue. You're responsible for the production of the widget. If you don't come to work one day, nothing happens. And so basically at that point, you just own your job. And so to start investing in key team members to come on to start carrying some of the revenue weight, some of the production weight, so that the business runs independent of you as an individual and move from that treadmill treadmill stage up to the next stage, the Pathfinder stage.
How do you give them the confidence to know that they're going to move forward? I mean, that they are confident that there's a prosperous future for them. How do you put that into a young entrepreneur?
Well, again, if you think like the tortoise instead of the hare, you can see prosperity very clearly because you're moving real slow, real steady. You're not ADD. You're not running around all over the place and out of control. You just got a real steady process. And even if you make a mistake, it's a small one because we're not magnifying the mistake with borrowed money. And we're just step by step by step going into the marketplace. And these generations they're unique. I've got a bunch of them on my team, and I know they're fabulous because they've grown up with this magic wand in their hand. And so they know about iterating. They know about changing and developing a product line because they've grown up with that mindset. And so they're uniquely qualified to run a business right now. It's fabulous time.
Real fast, am I right in saying that more new businesses, small businesses are being started? There's more entrepreneurial activity now than there was in the last few years. Is that accurate?
Yeah, probably the last 10 or even 20 years. And some of that has to do with economic outlook. But again, it has to do with this idea of scarcity versus abundance mentality. And if you've grown up where you could push a thing in your hand and stuff shows up on your front porch, you have an abundance mentality.
Wow.
You think anything's possible. And so it's a wonderful time.
Yeah, Dave Ramsey is incredibly correct. The best thing to do right now is to start a side hustle to make more money. There are so many different ways to make money. I actually wrote an ebook called How to Get Rich Like Trump, where I talk about several different ways that you can make money, start making money on the internet, like I have been able to make money. If you want to learn how to make extra income and how to get rich like Trump, click the link below to grab that ebook today. All right, my friends, so Dave Ramsey just came out and revealed the truth about the student loan crisis. So let's tune in, my friends.
Indeed, it is not. And the skyrocketing cost of college tuition has many Americans, particularly those who took on student loans, wishing they had considered some of those alternatives. As of 2025, total student debt in America is at $1.8 trillion. It's roughly tripled in the last 17 years. According to a Pew Research analysis of those who took on student debt to get a degree, roughly a third say the financial toll that debt has taken outweighs the benefits. And nobody knows that toll, than Dave Ramsey. As a young man, he declared bankruptcy himself. He spent decades educating people about the crippling weight of debt, particularly from student loans, and how to get out. We caught up with him at Ramsey Solutions headquarters in Tennessee.
When these people that are 24 years old are opening up these loans and they're going, oh, what have I done?
Dave Ramsey has built an empire helping people dig their way out of some of the most dire financial situations imaginable.
Yep.
And have outstanding federal student loan debt.
Wow.
Bankers would never loan an 18-year-old money. If a kid went in 18 years old and said, I want to borrow $140,000 to start a business, they would get laughed out of there because the banker's looking at them going, no. They're not going to pay it back. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they're getting into. But yet our federal government has decided this is a brilliant idea.
Though the loans, all backed by taxpayer dollars, are enough to cause years of financial hardship, it's interest, a detail often overlooked by borrowers that can make these debts nearly insurmountable.
My original loans taken out in total were $56,083, and currently we have a balance of $63,790.82.
Of course they don't understand exactly. Now, some more than others, but I mean, all they want to do is go to school and, sign right here, press hard, there's 3 copies. And that's the extent of their analysis.
What about parents? What's the role of a guardian or a parent kind of advising these kids into what can be a lifelong financial obligation?
When you're 17, 18 years old, it's mom and dad it's a good thing for them to be involved in your life. Hello. And if you're looking at this and going, my daughter's going to a school she can't afford, going $240,000 in debt to get a degree in left-handed puppetry, she's going to be a well-financed barista when this is over. And I love her enough to say, no, that's dumb. You're not going to do that.
The snowballing crisis has spurred at least some action in Washington, with the newly signed Big Beautiful Bill bringing changes to the federal student loan process. There are limits on some kind of loans, and so how do you think that might help?
Maybe it'll slow down some of the stupidity. It'll turn the volume down a little bit, but they're still playing the music. I mean, they're still making the loans, and they're still not really saying, why are you going to school? Why are you choosing this?
At the end of the day, Ramsey says Americans must learn that the true value of an education comes from the career skills learned, not the institution listed on the degree.
The number one problem that causes student loans is not getting the four-year degree. It's college choice. So you can choose to go to a state school for $12,000 a year tuition right now. You can work while you're in school. You can apply for scholarships, and you can get through that school 100% debt-free. Education is good, but being dumb about education is a bit of an oxymoron.
Well, some frank advice for all of you watching who are considering signing on the dotted line.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily.
Wow, very well said. You know, Dave Ramsey loves this country, but look, he also downplays the recession fears, and he says this is not a crisis. It's not a drama queen thing. The liberals have been loving to say that, oh, we're heading into a recession. The stock's gonna tank. Our real estate's gonna tank. Dave Ramsey's like, that's BS. Come on, don't be a drama queen. Trump's creating the economic boom of a lifetime, my friends. And many of you guys know who have started investing, so many of you guys in my investing program saying, Dylan, you know, I'm up thousands of dollars. Somebody messaged me the other day saying they're up $14,000 since they took my Invest Like Trump program because they knew which stocks to buy. It's insane. Let's tune in.
Small businesses say they fear President Trump's tariffs. Dave Ramsey is the CEO and founder of Ramsey Solutions, and Dave Ramsey joins me now. Dave, the New York Post this morning says that a lot of small businesses laying people off and closing, and I saw an interview with a baby equipment manufacturer who says that his tariffs has gone from 17% to 27%, and he doesn't know how to fix that. So, but you're telling small business people, don't panic. Okay, why not?
Well, because the vast majority of what they're facing will be temporary, and or you can pivot and try to source your goods somewhere else, whether it's domestically or one of the other countries where the tariffs aren't quite as high. There's a lot of ways to do this, and of course, if all of your competitors in, say, the baby whatever manufacturing is there, if all your competitors are buying the same place, then it's a price increase to the consumer. It doesn't put the company out of business. Companies seldom absorb taxes. They pass them on to consumers in higher prices.
Okay. There's a new survey. It's that 62% of us, of top CEOs that is, 62% now expect the economy to enter a recession in the next 6 months. Kevin Hassett told Larry Kudlow he sees no recession. Where do you come out on the recession question?
I actually have no idea. My perception is that most of this tariff negotiations are going to be wrapped up fairly quickly, and it's going to end up to the benefit of the United States economy. There's no question about that. If it is done quickly, then there's no recession. If it drags out for a year on the vast majority of these negotiations, it could slow the economy down. That does make sense. But this is not a crisis. It's not a drama queen thing. The market's having a temper tantrum because the market doesn't like uncertainty, and this represents uncertainty.
You think we're going to win the tariff war?
Based on the guy doing the negotiating, it looks like we are.
Oh yeah, we've been doing extremely well on all of these tariffs. I mean, it's been insane. Every time there's a new, and I talk about this all in my Invest Like Trump program, and I'm talking about it a lot, but I talk about all this stuff as it's happening and leading up to it too. So many of you guys are in on it before, and that's how people really get wealthy in the stock market. I mean, look at the stock. The stock's up another 14 bucks today. Look at the S&P 500. This is crazy. And they try to doubt Trump and say, oh, the economy's going to crash. We're at almost at all-time highs again. Actually, we have. This morning, S&P, NASDAQ hits a new record. S&P 500 rises ahead of inflation data this week. Wow. The NASDAQ jumped to a record on Monday as investors gear for a data-heavy week that includes 2 closely watched readings on inflation. The tech-heavy NASDAQ gained 0.6%. Wow, my friends. That is absolutely huge. Trump's always right. If you want to learn how to invest like Trump and get up to $1,000 in bonus stocks, head to my website, thefinanzone.org, or click the link below, guys. Let's get back to the video.
I'll take that as a yes. Dave, I want to get to your new book. It's called Build a Business You Love. Come on.
Whoa, I need to buy that book too, guys.
Tell us about it.
Well, Stuart, you and I have been doing this together a long, long time. And in the financial side of things, we taught people how to get out of debt and build wealth using a proven system called the baby steps. And when you have a clear path and you can see your way, even if it's uphill, people don't mind climbing the hill to get to where they want to go. And the same thing's true running a small business. We've been running Ramsey from a card table in my living room to now about 1,100 folks and somewhere around $300 million in revenue. We've been doing that over 35 years. We've gone through several stages of business, and we coach a lot of small businesses, and so like about 10,000 of them. And so in that, we've observed these 5 stages of business. So what we came up with is kind of the baby steps for small business. It's the clear path through the 5 stages of business, and we outlined it so that, yeah, if you're going uphill, welcome to business. It's tough. Everybody can't do it. It's not for sissies. So jump in there and swing, but there's a climb on that hill that can be done.
Did you ever see the movie What About Bob with Bill Murray?
Oh, yeah.
With the baby steps. That's my
Baby steps. That's right. That's exactly right.
Wow, I love that movie, What About Bob? But I love Dave Ramsey even more, guys. He is so legit. Now, one thing I really like about Dave Ramsey is he actually exposed Kamala Harris too and the Democrats and why their policies will not work. So we have to talk about this, my friends. So we're gonna listen in. But before we do, my friends, we have a special promo going on, a free trial that ends today on my program to learn how to invest like President Trump. Go to my website, thefinanzone.org. Take out your phone right now or your computer and type in thefinanzone.org, and you can learn how to invest like President Trump. And when you join, you'll get up to $1,000 in bonus stocks. President Trump is telling us all right now that this is a great time to buy and that this is a great time to get rich. Richer than ever before. Take a listen to what President Trump said.
You better go out and buy stock now. Let me tell you, this country will be like a rocket ship that goes straight up. This is going to be numbers that nobody's ever seen before. Rising market will do. Oh, it's going to get a lot higher. In fact, I told people 5 weeks ago, it's a great time to buy. I got criticized for that. Now they don't criticize me anymore. People should have listened.
Should have listened. So if you want to join in on the program, the free trial ends today. You can get free access just from investing like Trump. My investments are up over $7,000 in the past month. It's pretty crazy. So check that out or go to my website, thefinanzone.org, to sign up today and take action. You can start with $1, $5, $10. You don't need a lot of money to start investing. Okay, and I'll walk you through how to do it step by step and easy. Let's tune in.
Well, the Harris campaign sells good vibes and taco recipes because Lord knows they can't sell this dog of an economy. And although celebs may be on Zoom singing her praises, Kamala Harris and young voters, well, can they use good vibes to pay their rent or buy their food or get ahead?
I'm 20 years old. Why is a 1-bedroom apartment $600, $1,600? Rent prices is outrageous. And then these jobs, they're bare minimum jobs. I really waited my whole life to grow up and do this.
My parents are Gen X's, and they've never owned a house at all. And there were many times where we were homeless.
I kept a full-time job the whole time I was homeless. It's just that everything is so expensive nowadays.
True.
That what do you prioritize? Do you prioritize eating? Or living at home?
We have to make 3 jobs just to make ends meet, and that's not fun money. That's money so that we're not homeless.
I think they need to read the new book, How to Get Rich Like Trump. Okay, guys, grab a copy. If you're struggling with money, download this ebook down below, guys. I priced it very, very affordable.
This is heartbreaking to hear. The question is, do these young people really think a President Harris will revive their prospects with policies like price controls. Joining me now, Dave Ramsey, personal finance expert, host of the fabulous The Ramsey Show. Dave, great to see you tonight. Okay, price controls. Talk to young people for a moment. Is that going to fix this problem, dig them out of that financial hole?
No, because it's artificial. It's not sustainable because it's artificial. If you just put a lid on something, and if you want to explore what really happens, just go back to the 1970s. We tried it. There was a whole movement for price controls across everything because inflation was out of control and rampant, just like it is now. And so it's been tried. It does not work. What works is to flood the market with supply. Lots of oil means lower oil prices. Lots of labor means lower labor prices. Lots of whatever means lower prices. It's a simple supply-demand curve. It's called economics, and it's called the free market economics. When you insert government in it and try to artificially cramp it down, it simply does not work because you can only hold that hose for so long until the pressure builds up and then it blows on you.
Well, President Trump was talking today about how we have flooded the market with low-wage workers, but unfortunately they're illegal aliens or asylum seekers, migrants, and so that has artificially kind of jacked up some of these employment numbers. But the Washington Post makes an important point regarding the retail sales numbers that came out today, Dave, which showed a 1% increase, which a lot of people think that's good, it's increasing. But the top 20% of households account for roughly 45% of overall spending, and low and middle income households are really feeling the brunt of high inflation. The lion's share of U.S. consumer spending coming from the wealthiest consumers. Dave, given what you hear on a daily basis, does that surprise you at all?
Well, let's also understand the statistic there. It went up 1%. It wasn't 1% in number of units sold. It was in dollar volume. What's that mean? It means the price went up. It doesn't mean the economy's booming. It just means the cost of the good went up by 1%. Actually, it went up a lot more than 1% because the number of units is down.
Yeah, Dave Ramsey's calling out the BS of the Kamala Harris not administration, but Joe Biden administration. You know, you can't just bust out the money printer and send all of our taxpayer dollars to stupid causes and expect that we're not going to suffer. This is why the America First policies work and the America Second policies do not work.
And so that's a misnomer. That's misreported. It acts like the economy is booming in retail or something. And yes, we are seeing this disparity between the haves and the have-nots getting wider and wider and wider, which traditionally you see as you see more and more government intervention in the economy. When you let the free market run and you leave it alone, this is a battle of ideas. When you let the free market run and leave it alone, it will find equilibrium. And it works to the advantage of most everyone when you do that. When you insert government in it and you say, I'm going to do price controls, I'm going to protect you from high grocery prices, it's simply not sustainable, and it causes more problems than not. All we got to do is go back and look at the mess of the supply chain in COVID and see that exact same thing unfolding there. And so if you want to help the little man, let CBS, the market run.
Well, some of the dumb ideas they have out there is just take cold showers, Dave. Skip a meal and take cold showers. That's the answer, and we'll go back to price controls.
There you go. Well, cold showers aren't bad for you necessarily. I would hate for anyone to have to take one. But if you take a cold shower to save money and then stop by Starbucks and pick up a $12 coffee, you kind of defeated yourself.
Dave, it is so great to see
you. He's hilarious, guys. Wow. Now, this is actually really fitting. This is Dave Ramsey talking about the amount of spending people do during the holidays. If you know me, I'm a very frugal guy. When I get people gifts, don't expect me to get you a fancy gift. In reality, either expect nothing from me or expect a homemade gift from me. Like, I'll print out a photo of us and put it in a picture frame and write you a little letter. You know, maybe it costs $5-10 to make, but hey, I feel like that's a lot more heartfelt than giving you an $80 pair of shoes, which that's not really my job, okay? I think I kind of hate how Christmas people spend so much money. I just really, and I feel like it's like so unnecessary. Anyways, rant over. We're passing it over to Dave now, guys. Sorry, but Christmas is about Jesus, not buying you a blender, okay? In that you're gonna probably not even use.
Meanwhile, the Federal Reserve is expected to make a third consecutive cut of interest rates later on today. And while inflation has ticked down, it's still a percentage higher since President Biden came into office, as you can see right there. Here to discuss is personal finance expert Dave Ramsey. Dave, good morning to you.
Good morning. Merry Christmas, Steve.
Merry Christmas to you as well. We're going to talk about Christmas gifts and stuff like that in a minute. But, you know, it will kind of be a little Christmas gift from the Fed if they do cut interest rates. But when you look at the numbers over the last year or so, actually during Joe Biden's term, the cost of pretty much everything is up at least 20%.
Yeah, it is. And so, you know, when you go up 20% and then you come down, you're still higher.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the way the math works on this. So even though we're only up 2% right now in the inflation rate, it's a 2% over a bigger number than we had before. So it's a problem. But, you know, good news is people are starting to adjust. We seem to be heading in the right direction. The sun will come out tomorrow. It looks like Q1, Q2 next year are going to be a wonderful time in the economy.
Well, during the first quarter and the second quarter, people in the United States will still be paying off the amounts of money that they are spending right now for Christmas. And in fact, the average American is going to spend over $2,000 this Christmas season on all this stuff. And the parents are expected to spend $461 per child. And here's the thing, Dave, when you look at that number right here, there are still a lot of Americans who are still paying off what they spent last Christmas today.
Yep.
What?
Yeah, the average over the last several years has been that people pay their credit card debt from Christmas into May.
Oh.
So it takes them about half the year to come back, and because they don't plan for Christmas, it sneaks up on them, like they move it or something. It's always in December, so let's lay out a plan here. And the old Christmas club from the 1950s or 60s could come back, meaning you save money every month to get ready for the coming Christmas, not pay in arrears for the last two Christmases, which is where we are now. But those numbers are mind blowing when you look at the averages there. That's a lot of money going out, all in the name of happiness comes from stuff, and it doesn't.
From stuff.
Yeah.
Your daughter Rachel was with us a couple of days ago, and she said she had a tip for people. Rather than go into a store and just spend willy-nilly, in your mind, or at least on a piece of paper, make a list of how much you're going to spend on each person. Like, Ainsley Earhart, I'm going to be spending $75 on Ainsley. Lawrence Jones, I'm going to be spending $125 on.
Oh.
You need to have numbers.
Yeah. You know, I'm old, and I met a guy from the North Pole. He says make a list and check it twice. Rachel's right, and if you do that, you put a name beside it, and then you total up those dollar amounts, you have what's called a Christmas budget. And then if you stick to that, you won't overspend. The problem with Christmas is not that we enjoy buying gifts for someone else. That's a wonderful thing. The problem is we impulse our butts off, and we double up what we spend because the retailers make all their money during this season, and so they're great merchandisers. They're great at putting stuff in front of us that we hadn't planned to buy.
Indeed.
Yep, we don't need to do that. Now, before we end the video, again, if you want to get access to the Invest Like Trump program free trial right now, free access, that's ending today, go to my website, thefinancezone.org. Inside the program, there are links in there, sign-up links. One of the links gives you up to $1,000 in bonus stocks. The second link gives you up to $200 in bonus stocks. You can use both of those. So check that out below. President Trump is saying that the market is going to boom.
The markets today are way down. The worst day because of the tariffs. So how's it going? I think it's going very well. It was an operation like when a patient gets operated on, and it's a big thing. I said this would exactly be the way it is. We have $6 or $7 trillion coming into our country, and we've never seen anything like it. The markets are going to boom. The stock is going to boom. The country is going to boom.
The country is going to boom. The stock is going to boom, my friends. The sale is ending soon. The free trial ends today. Check it out below or go to my website, thefinanzone.org. God bless. We'll talk to you soon, guys.